Boots Ennis stopped Stanionis, actually 6 rounds. The corner pulled Stanionis out at the end of the 6th round. No arguments from Stanionis himself. This right here, I'm thinking of titling this video, Boots Ennis is back. I know what some people are going to say, Boots is back, but he never left. Well, his last 2 fights, although I didn't think the Evanesian fight was necessarily as bad as others had it. You know, some people made it out as though that was a real bad performance from Boots Ennis. I didn't think it was that bad in comparison to his other performances, prior to, obviously when he fought Karen last fight. I thought, yeah, he wasn't as good in the Evanesian fight, but he wasn't, as bad as some people were making it out, like saying, they were a bit worried. No, I thought he was just alright, just average in the Evanesian fight. I will say last time out against Karen, that was a rematch. He didn't look particularly, he didn't set the world alight in that fight, to say the least. And going into this fight, I did have my reservations about Boots, I'm not going to lie. I was favouring him going into the fight until I seen that picture of him on Wednesday at that, photo op thing. And yeah, he really didn't look good. It looked like he was really, really malnourished, really drained. I think that his own commentary said when they asked Boots Ennis on the morning of the weigh-in, what are you going to have for breakfast? Because obviously it was a ceremonial weigh-in. They weigh in the morning, hence the reason when you see, because you look at Boots Ennis on the scale, when he actually on the scale at the weigh-in, he looked fine. He didn't actually look near as bad as he did on Wednesday. That's because he'd already begun the rehydration process. Ceremonial weigh-ins now essentially means you're going to weigh in on the morning of the morning before the fight. So where before it might be like what kind of midday, 2 o'clock thereabouts. Now you're probably getting at 8, 9 o'clock that morning. So you've all the time in the world. You've a full day plus the rest. You've nearly 2 days really to rehydrate. So Boots going into this fight, I was thinking, how's the weight cut going to be? Is it the weight cut that's really going to beat Ennis as opposed to Stanionis? And given the fact that this was a unification, there was no IBF check weight, so we didn't have to adhere to any rehydration or anything like that, clause or anything like that. He was able to come in as heavy as he wanted on the morning. And for me, the performance, well, this morning, because it happened in the hours of the morning here, it was brilliant. There was a few defensive lapses from Boots Ennis that were there. There was basically with Boots, and the DAZN commentary team said this, and I tend to agree, that Boots knows he's talented. He knows he's athletic. He knows he has all the ability. And sometimes in fights, I don't even want to say that he's lacking defense as in, he's not taught it. I think he just mentally just switches off. He's on offense. He's got great footwork. He's just lighting Stanionis up in there. And then he just seems to forget, oh my God, he throws punches too. And he just gets hit. Silly little shots that you just really shouldn't be getting hit with. That was happening to Boots in this fight. Like in the first round, he was lighting up Stanionis a bit. And then, again, he rode the shot very well, but walked into a big counter left hook from Stanionis near the back end of the round. Again, rode the shot quite well, didn't land with full power. But you do kind of look at that and think, Boots, man, you need to stay on it, because if you're going to move up in weight, which we think is inevitably going to happen, those guys at 154, they don't play around. You don't want to give them opportunities to hit you. Certainly not. Certainly don't want to be giving them opportunities. But this fight, really, it was just the Boots Ennis show. I mean, he was working the uppercut to great effect in there, the hand speed, the footwork. He just seemed to be his old self in there, rejuvenated Boots Ennis. Didn't seem to have, any issues with movement or anything like that. Just, he flowed. That's really what he did. He flowed. And after about round 4, you could really see at that point that the writing was on the wall for Stanionis. Round 5, he ended up getting, cut a little bit. I think it was blood coming from his nose. His face was really getting bashed up. Round 6, Boots Ennis landed some more body shots. The body attacks from Boots were absolutely lethal in this fight. He launched a body attack on Stanionis. Stanionis went down with about 20 seconds to go in round number 6. He got back up to his feet. He was, standing firm till the bitter end. As the bell went to end the 6th round, he kind of gave Boots that look. And I don't know what he said or anything like that, but they both kind of looked back at one another. And that was the last thing in the fight, because the corner pulled him out. I mean, the writing was on the wall. I can't really argue with that corner retirement, to be honest with you. The worst thing you can have is a brave cornerman. And had they sent Stanionis out in round number 7, likelihood is he probably would have got stopped in round 7, round 8. He wouldn't have gone on much longer, because Boots was hurting him to the body. He was piecing him up to the head. And I think that the writing was on the wall. Save the guy for another day. It was getting a bit hard to watch after about round 4. At about round 4, you could see the writing was on the wall. You could see Stanionis was getting beat up, and the best thing they could have done was just do exactly that. Wave the fight, we're done, save the guy for another day. He can come again. he can come again. I think he's in there with a phenomenal talent in Boots Ennis. If he can make welterweight safely, and now given the fact that he's unified champion, I believe that rehydration clause is done. It's a thing of the past. You don't have to worry about it now. So if he can make welterweight safely, knowing now he doesn't have to adhere to any rehydration clause, well, let's see. But he looked so bad on Wednesday. I do think that it's a great way to leave the welterweight division, unifying, move up to 154. And I think we'll see a more. I think this version of Boots that we've seen tonight, he'll be more frequent. We won't have an infrequent Boots Ennis like we did certainly in his last fight, and to an extent, well, you could even argue in the Karen fight before that, in the last couple of fights. I don't think we'll have that. I think we'll have a primed Boots Ennis at 154. So that's my thoughts on this. Let me know yours in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed the video. As always, people, if you could hit the old like button, hit subscribe. Until later, peace.